Good afternoon, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Now we move on to session 1 on the overview of global vegetable oils. And we have a very interesting session because we have 3 prominent speakers from 2 major consuming countries of palm oil, namely India and China. First 2 speakers from India will be presenting here in Mumbai, and the third speaker, China, will present live from China. So without further ado, I would like to call upon Mr. Sandeep Bajoria to join me on stage. Thank you. So we will start this session with the paper by Mr. Sandeep on the overview of the Indian vegetable oil industry with special focus on sunflower oil. So Mr. Sandeep is the president of the International Sunflower Oil Association, and he has over 40 years of experience in the Indian vegetable oils and oilseeds industry. However, Mr. Sandeep Bajoria has to leave at 4 o'clock, so immediately after his presentation, we will take at least 2 questions for him to answer. Please, Mr. Sandeep, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. All the dignitaries coming from various countries, Malaysia, Indonesia, Honduras, India. Madam Mustalifa is here. She is a very famous minister in India because she's been coming to Globe Oil many, many years. And Madam, thank you very much to see you again here in India. And it's a great organization today by CPOPC for this conference. And really appreciate that you made Mumbai as your host for the second conference. And I'm a resident of Mumbai, so I would definitely say big congratulations to you for having this successful conference. I'm going to talk about overview of world vegetable oil industry and especially looking at sunflower oil. As you know, India is a population of about 1.42 billion, which we are probably overtaken China already. And our per capita consumption has been, last year the growth has been very, very good. Nearly 10% growth in consumption has taken place in last year, 8 to 10%. And our veg oil consumption has gone up to 25 million tons. So out of these 25 million tons, our own production is about 9.5 million tons, and the rest we import. And last year also, you see, we have imported huge quantity from the veg oil. For palm oil countries, I must tell you, this year we're going to end up with import of 10 million tons of palm oil. 10 million tons is a landmark in the history of India, that importing palm oil alone. And we're going to import about 3.1 million tons of sunflower oil, and we're going to import about 3.4 million tons of soybean oil. Total import will be touching about 16.5, 16.6 million tons. So this is a record import for India. And I believe all the exporting countries also are very happy that world's largest importer is back in action, and the consumption in this country is rising, incomes are rising, the GDP growth is 7%. So with all this, India is a spot where everybody has to be in. And today, in continuation, tomorrow is our Solvent Extractor Association AGM is there. Our President Ajay Jhunjhunwala is here, past President Vijay Datta, Atul Chaturvedi are here. Dr. Mehta is the Executive Director of our association. He is also here. And then 29th and 30th, we have Globe Oil. So 27th to 30th is the festival of veg oils in Mumbai. You can say it that way, you know. And everybody who's who in the world is going to be here in Mumbai. Any company who is producing or consuming vegetable oils, we will be having everybody here. So with this kind of an environment, friends, I will just run through fast. The availability and production of the veg oil, I already spoke to you. India's import duties on the slide number 6 is, can somebody change the slides? Slide number 6. Let me go.
The slide one.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, India's effective import duties. India has reduced the import taxes very much, and right now, as you see, it's only 5.5% on the crude oil and 13.75% on refined oil. So, India is now one of the very low tariff countries, and that has really given a boost to imports in the country. The imports of veg oil into the country, as I already said, the imports are getting into bigger numbers, and total imports 10 million tons of palm oil for 22-23, 3.5 soya, 3.1 sun, total 16.6. But next year, I believe imports will slow down. Palm will come down from 10 to 9.5. Soybean will come down to 3.2 from 3.5. Sunflower will come down to 2.9 from 3.1. So instead of 16.6, we will import 15.6 million next oil year, that is 23-24. The reason is we have imported huge quantities this year. Previous year import was only 14.1 million, and this year is 16.6. So we have got large stocks of veg oil into the ports and into the factories. We have a lot of uncrushed seeds, like soybean seed is about 1.5 million ton uncrushed. Rapeseed also maybe 1.2 to 1.5 million by the end of the season. So carry-in will be very high of the seeds and also imported oil stocks. So that's why next year our imports will reduce by 1 million ton. But 15.6 million ton is also a very big number. Friends, another very important slide, now coming to sunflower oil, you see how the profile of the origin and the selling countries have changed. Russia, which was exporting 396,000 tons of oil last year, is exported 786,000 tons of oil this year. Ukraine, which was 767,000 last year, this year is reduced to 474. Romania, which was not present last year, is going to export 470,000 tons of oil to India. Most of the Ukraine oil coming through Danube River in small boats, through small ports, is coming to Romanian ports, and it is getting exported from there. Argentina was 302,000 last year. This year is 366. Argentine flow is pretty well maintained. Turkey was only 49,000 last year, and now it is 158,000. Bulgaria was 17,000 last year, and now 134,000 Bulgaria. So I mean to say that the profile of exporting countries have changed very much. Earlier it used to be 80% Ukraine and 10% Argentina and 10% Russia. But now it's completely changed. You see, this is the way now, and other small countries. So I believe overall situation in the import profile is changing very fast. And port-wise import, we have got about 6 ports on the east coast and 6 ports on the west coast. And this slide shows the imports in each port. You can have the presentation afterwards. Then world sunseed production, one sunseed production this year is going to be around 50 million tons, which you can see about 52.45 million tons was the previous year. And this year is going to be about 55.8 million tons. And out of that, Russia will be about something about 16.5 million ton, and Ukraine will be about 13.5 million tons. So these are the vein, and then the EU will be 10 million tons, Argentina 4 million tons. This is the sunflower production thing. Sun oil will be, production will be about, current year will be about 21 million tons, next year will be 21.47 million tons. Sunseed meal is also going to increase, and production and export in world sun oil production will be about 21.5 million tons, and exports are going to be about 13 million tons of sun oil. Indian sun oil import, as I said earlier, this year we're going to end with 3.1 million ton, next year will be 2.9 million tons. These are the monthly stocks figures you see. The monthly stocks are now pretty good, about 200,000 tons monthly stock, and import on an average about 270 to 300,000 tons of sun oil every month. The top importers of sun oil in India are Gemini, Adani Wilmar, Kalishwari, MK Agro, Lohi Edible, Cargill India, Patanjali, KTV, and Parak Foods and Frigorifico Alana. And friends, my dear friend Mr. Sandeep Bhan from Sime Darby is also here. And he sounds pretty bullish on palm oil. So as far as sunflower oil is concerned, I can say I believe the prices are going to be OND 2023, CIF, CNF India in the range of about $825 to $900. JFM will be slightly higher by $10, $835 to $910. AMJ will be even like same JFM like. And JS again will have because of off season, the prices will go up by $860 to $920. So sun oil is going to be well priced. Sun oil is going to be at discount to soya oil. Sun oil 2 weeks back gave a competition to palm oil. It was even money with palm oil. So that time it was a little scary for palm oil suppliers that if sun oil is going to come in and take a big share of the market. But the farmers in sun oil were reluctant sellers because the sun seed was getting sold below cost of production. So they reduced their supply. And once they reduced the supply, automatically the prices went up. So right now today, the crude palm oil at the close of the Malaysian market today is something around $870 CNF India, while sun oil is about $900. And soybean oil as of today is about $980. So soybean oil is about $110 premium to crude palm oil and about $75, $80 premium to sunflower oil. So sunflower oil is the oil which is really picked up well. Not much of sunflower oil is going into biodiesel production. Some sunflower oil is going in Europe in biodiesel now as a slight replacement of the rapeseed oil. But this is the oil which is mainly used for the food. And you have to watch the prices of sun oil and rape oil because last year when the whole market came down, it didn't come down because of palm and soya price movement. It came because of the sunflower and rapeseed prices went down too much. And that's the reason the palm and soya also had to come down. So I believe when we look at veg oil scenario, we have to look at all the oils together. And this is how the situation is emerging. With this kind of a situation in the world, I believe we have seen the worst in veg oil already. And now we did not get more scared of the bearish markets. As Thomas is saying, El Nino, yes, we had El Nino position in India. In August, the rains were very deficient. But in September, rains have really picked up. At rather some places, there are excess rains. So some effect of El Nino is there, but let's see how does it play out. But however, it looks like world veg oil market on the palm side, about $825. CNF India looks a bottom for as far as CPO is concerned. Sun oil also looks like now $870 looks like a bottom. And soya oil, I would say about $920 CNF would be a bottom. You have to know what is the downside because first you have to protect your losses. Then you can think what is upside. Because last 10, 12 months have been very tough for the industry in India and world over. Because the people have been losing money because markets have been falling continuously. Earlier 2 years, people made a lot of money in COVID times. So any industry which made money in COVID is losing money afterwards. In any industry which was in loss in COVID, like this hotel industry was in doldrums, airline was in doldrums, all the restaurants were in doldrums in COVID times, and they are making super money now. Unheard of kind of a money they are making now. So I believe in veg oil also, last year was a tough, but we all hope to see a good year beginning from October this year. And I believe players will have some room to recoup their losses and grow substantially. One more thing I want to tell you, because we are here with all the palm oil and sustainable is the theme of the conference. So out of 10 million tons of palm oil, which India is importing, this figure you might be surprised, but I was talking to RSPO CEO, I was talking to Solvent CEO. 2.2 million tons is sustainable palm oil, which India is buying right now. So let's give a big hand to the sustainable palm oil. So people never thought that India is already importing 2.2 million tons. And I can tell you every year this number is going to grow by at least 300,000, 400,000. So next 5 years, this 2.2 million of sustainable palm oil can grow up to 4 million tons. So I think this was a very right of the organizers to hold conference in India and Mumbai at this time. And probably people would be very happy to know this figure. With this, thank you very much for giving me opportunity to come and talk to you. And always welcome to India. See the beautiful city of Mumbai. G20 was held very successfully here. I think all the delegates and all the head of the states had a great time. And this is like our edible oil G20. Thank you. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Thank you, Mr. Sandeep Bajoria. Any questions for Mr. Sandeep? Yes, please.
You said Ukrainian imports or exports have come down, but to include Romania and all that, then probably they've actually gone up instead of actually coming down, because whatever oil is coming from that part is also Ukrainian oil.
Yeah, if you add Romania also, still the number is not more than 800,000. And Russia has taken a big chunk. Russia alone exported 800,000 tons. Then Bulgaria and other countries also taken a... So at one time, Ukraine would be 80% of the total import. Like we used to import 2 million tons of sun oil. So 1.6 million would be Ukraine and 200,000 Argentina, 200,000 Russia. So now, if you can include Ukraine, Romania, everything, still that 1.6 million has come down to 0.8 million only in the Ukraine side. Because they have a lesser crop. They used to have 16.5 million tons of sunseed crop. Now the crop is 13.5 million. And then exit routes are also a problem. Shipping is a problem. So a lot of sunseed is getting diverted to European countries for crush from Ukraine. And then some oil is getting diverted. That's a big challenge right now in front of everybody. Coming here also, the challenge is how to get oil out of Ukraine. So logistics have become more important than the actual crop number, you know. So that logistics is actually determining the prices of sun oil. So this is the situation right now. Thank you.
Any more questions from the floor? I have one question. How does the development in the Black Sea region, especially with the Russian Federation withdrawal from the Black Sea Grain Initiative, going to impact the sunflower oil industry in the midterm? Thank you.
Yeah, after the grain corridor, Russia withdrew. The big vessels which were going to load in Ukraine, they had to actually go inward, wait for 20-25 days for their turn, and then get into it, and then they load the vessels. So these big vessels cannot be loaded from Ukraine now, like 30, 35, 40,000 tonner. Now, so Ukraine is just trying to send the oil through Danube River or by railroad or by roads to nearby countries. And they assemble at the different ports in the Danube River region. So, and it comes to Turkey, it comes to Romania. And there they aggregate the oil from the barges, which are like 1,000, 2,000 ton barges. They get 20 barges. Then they put the oil in the tanks in the port. And then they put a load of vessel of 15K, 15,000, 20,000. So logistics cost has gone haywire. And nobody is certain how much time it will take to load a vessel, because you have to depend on so many small boats to coming in. So that is added to the cost. So you see the FOB price of Ukraine, you feel, okay, FOB and CNF, there's such a big gap. But actually, there's a big chunk of logistic cost. Ocean freight plus at least $40, $50 to aggregate this oil. And then you get it out. So this is reducing the flow from Ukraine. But still, they are able to manage to push it out somewhere. But it's a challenge. It's a challenge. I think this grain deal is, not having a grain deal is a problem, which is a big challenge to the world, not only for veg oil, for grains and everything is there. But let's see how development takes place.
Thank you, Mr.
Sandeep,
Sandeep.
in spite of all the logistical issues, why is sunflower still very, very competitive, even compared to palm oil or soya oil these days? Why?
Because see, sunflower, as I said, doesn't go much in biodiesel. So sunflower has to find food users. And whoever is producing, whether Russia is producing or whatever Ukraine is producing, they need to push out the oil. And push out the oil for edible purposes. So in such situation, they have no alternate to, once they are logistically, they can get the oil out, they need to sell at whatever the price is there. That's why Atulji rightly said, at one time, sun oil used to be at a premium to soybean oil. maybe $50, $100 premium. But today we are finding it's at a discount of $50 to $100. Specific reason is they need to push out the oil for food. And there is no biodiesel support in sun oil. Thank you.
There's no further question. Well, let's thank Mr. Sandeep Bajoria. He has to leave now. Thank you very much. I contact you. I have your card. Thank you. So now we will continue with the second prominent speaker, also from India. So please welcome Dr. B.V. Mehta. Dr. B.V. Mehta is going to present his paper entitled Consumer of Cooking Oil Ensure Food Security for the Country in the Global Vegetable Oil Complex. Dr. B.V. Mehta is the Executive Director of the Solvent Extractors Association of India and connected with the Indian vegetable industries for 4 decades and has in-depth knowledge of the Indian oilseed sector and vegetable oil industry. Dr. Mehta, you have 15 minutes.
Next, okay. Back. Okay. The dignitaries and the friends from the palm oil fraternity community across the globe, I would like to thank the CPOPC for inviting me to share my thoughts on the consumer of cooking oil ensure the food security for the country in the global vegetable oil complex at CPOPC's second Sustainable Vegetable Oil Conference at Mumbai. Let me tell you, my work has become easy thanks to Mr. Sandeep Bajoria, because he has covered most of my points here. Anyway, let me start with my presentations. Many of you know the Solvent Association of India is known as ISOA of India. It's a premier association of vegetable oil industry and trade, having about 800 members across the country. Who in edible oil are the member of the association. SCA is also NGO by the Ministry of Agriculture and trade promotion organized by Ministry of Commerce, Government of India. SCA was the first association in the country to receive the ISO certificate way back in 2004, and also ITC Geneva, United Nations, they did a case study across the world, and they found the SCA is one of the best and successful associations. Let me give a little background. India was reasonably self-sufficient in edible oil segment till 90s. India's most import requirement in the mid-90s of the last century was about hardly 300,000 tons. With the opening of the economy and the rising income level, our consumption kept rising, oilseed production stagnated, and creating the massive imbalance in the supply chain. Year of the low commodity price also lulled the decision makers into the complacency that we have enough oil to feed the population here. This is a small balance sheet of Indian oilseed sector. We have about 30 million hectares under Indian oilseed cultivations. Average yield is quite low, about 1100 kg. Average production is, of course, a trade estimate about 35 million ton. Edible oil per capita consumption is 17 to 17.5 kgs per annum. Of course, it is rising very fast. Domestic vegetable oil production, I'm talking about the edible and non-edible combined, is about 11.5 million ton. Current edible consumption is about 24 million ton. Import of edible oil, roughly this year, November 22 to October 23, would be about 16.5 million plus. And value of the import is about $18 billion, and total turnover of the industry is about $35 billion. Now let us look at this Indian oilseed current status. India was blessed with the normal monsoon last year and harvested record soybean crop to the extent of 12 million ton, groundnut at about 8 million ton, and the rep mustard at about 11 to 11.5 million tons. This has augmented the domestic availability of edible oil by about 1.5 million tons to meet the growing demand. India also produced about 2.25 million tons of vegetable oils from the secondary sources like rice bran, minor oils, and others here. Now look at this domestic production versus the import of vegetable oils. While the domestic production rising slowly, the demand is rising very fast. The dependence on the import is nearly 60 to 65%. I think Mr. Bajoria also spoke about this. International price of vegetable oil reduced even less than the prevailing in September 21, pushing the import into India. Currently, duty on CPO, soybean oil or sunflower oil, attracts only 5.5% duty only, which is the lowest, ever lowest, I would say. Now let us look at this chart, current edible consumption of the various edible oils. India consumes varieties of oils, either locally produced or imported one. Palm oil consumption accounts for about 33% of the total consumption of edible oil of about 24 million ton, followed by soya at 24%, red mustard oil is 15%, and sunflower oil at 8%. Palm oil is more popular in hospitalities, restaurants and catering segment, that is we call Horeca segment, while the raw mustard oil, popularly known in India as a kachi ghani, is demand in northern and eastern part of India. Soybean oil is mainly consumed in central part of India. Sunflower oil, palm oil, and coconut oil are more preferred oil in the southern India. Rice bran oil as a health oil and cottonseed oil as a good frying oil are also gaining the popularity in India, and their production is about 1.1 million ton per each. I'm talking about the rice bran, we produce about 1 million. Cottonseed oil also we produce over 1.2 million ton. Now let us look at the outlook of import of edible oil for the 22-23. In 2021-22, ending October 22, import of edible oil was estimated at 14 million ton. In the current year, that is 22-23, import would be in the range of 16.5 to 16.5 when I prepared my paper. But roughly, my calculation says it will be 16.5 million plus this year due to increase in per capita consumption and population growth. We add about one Australia every year, about 20 million people. So we have to also need more oil to feed their mouth. The quantum and type of oil import will depend on the price parity and the spread between the palm oil and the soft oil. As Mr. Bajoria said, sunflower oil has become more cheaper compared to never we thought that it can be cheaper than palm oil, and it happened. So naturally, if the southern India particularly, if they're getting a sunflower oil cheaper, they'll switch over from other oil to the sunflower oil, even in they'll switch over from palm oil. Now, let me tell you what is our long-term projection about the edible oil demand. Edible oil consumption in 2018-19 was 22 million ton. However, during 1920 and 2021, due to corona and high price, squeezed the demand to about 1 to 1.5 million ton. But now, Indians are filling up the backlog and celebrating the festival and wedding with the full force. Since the business and civil life is nearly normal, the growth is back to track. I'm expecting the consumption growth between 2 to 3% in the next 5 years. With this assumption, the growth demand of edible oil is estimated to be about 30 million ton by 2930. There is very small production of biodiesel in India, and the feedstock is expensive. Now, question is, can India meet the growing demand? Oilseed production at a normal growth rate is projected to increase from current level of 34 or 35 million ton to 45 to 48 million tons, and vegetable oility from primary and secondary source is projected to increase by about 5 to 6 million ton to around 15 to 16 million ton by 2930. Against this, India's consumption or demand for vegetable oil would be about 30 million tons by 30. The gap of 50%, which is about 13 to 14 million ton, is expected to be bridged through the import. The quantum and the type of the oil import will depend on the price parity and the spread between the palm oil and the soft oil. I was asked to how the security can be covered in Indian. There are, of course, I think my time, I think I have given a little bit time. Earlier it was 20 minutes, now it's 15 minutes. Anyway, I cut short accordingly. The policy imperative for India, one is a target approach. Second is a crop diversification from, say, wheat to the mustard, recalibrate the MSP, the technology push. These are some of the important points by which India can increase its production of oilseed to reduce the imports here. What is the way forward? In 1987 to 1992, the Indian production of edible oil was 12 million ton, and that time Government of India appointed a technology mission on oil seeds, and within 5 years the production jumped from 12 million ton to 22 million ton, and that time only one champion, Dr. Sam Pitroda. Similarly, we should have one champion today to govern the entire policy. That's why I'm saying the appointment champion. Mustard and groundnut are the high oil-bearing oilseed and can be game changer. Intercropping is another way of increasing the production and productivity of the oilseeds. Then crop diversification, as I said, crop diversification is also very important. Then high import duty on edible oil. Of course, my friends from the Indonesia, Malaysia, they will not like it, yeah, high import duty. But let me tell you, it's a win-win situation on both the sides. If the import duties keep very low, India, the food security, we are talking about the food security, will be in danger. Today, dependence of 60%, no country can afford to have so much dependence on food items here. That's the reason. We are not against Indonesia and Malaysia. Rather, we are thankful to Indonesia and Malaysia for supplying the palm oil. And this year, we will be importing the highest quantity of palm oil. Yeah. Now, let me touch a little bit of palm oil production in India and SEA palm oil sustainable efforts. India's domestic production of palm oil is about 330,000 ton during the 22-23. You can see from this chart, and the increment is very, very slow, hardly 30,000 tons per annum has been increased here. Now, this is very important chart. The government of India has aiming for 1 million hectare by 25-26 under the National Mission on Edible Oil and Palm Oil NMO operations. Today, hardly 350,000 hectares is the oil palm. Under NMAP-OP, it is proposed to cover an additional area of 0.6 million hectare for oil palm till 25-26, and thereby reaching a target of 1 million hectares ultimately. The production of crude palm oil is expected to go up by about 1.1 million ton by 25-26. These are government numbers, and about 2.8 million tons by 29-30. So this is the government is aiming to produce at least million ton by 25-26. Of course, Telangana has taken a lead. We are told that about 400,000 hectares, or roughly 800,000 acres, will be in the oil palm in the next 2 or 3 years. Telangana is taking a lead. Also, the northeast also big. Also, the plantation is increasing in northeast also. SCA has already launched Indian Palm Oil Sustainability Framework, IPOS, with the help of the Solidared, which is similar to Indonesia's framework of ISPO and MSPO in Malaysia. They have recognized each other's standard to promote the sustainable palm oil. Even as some countries are creating the troubles for the palm oil industry, Indonesia and Malaysia industry, India has remained a loyal customer to palm oil. To strengthen the sustainability program for palm oil, SCA has signed MOU with the MPOB and Indonesian Palm Oil Board. SCA is fully committed in producing the sustainable palm oil. Now, major challenge here in India is the sustainability is multiple sustainability standards, low level of awareness about the sustainability, price-sensitive market. The consumer is not ready to pay any premium for the sustainable palm oil, perception as a cheaper and poor man's oil. That's a major issue for the palm oil, because palm oil is not entered the kitchen. Palm oil is only being used in a HoReCa segment. If you ask me, or if you ask my friends of India, none of them are using the palm oil in their kitchen. But if you ask me, every day we are eating the palm oil. Today also we are eating all the food prepared in the palm oil. But it has not gone to the kitchen. What is required? You must start the publicity about the good virtue of the palm oil. There are a lot of wrong messages are being circulated in India that palm oil is bad for the health. I think Indonesia and Malaysia, friend, a particular MPOs and other, you must take up this issue very strongly. There are a lot of negative propaganda is going in India about the palm oil. Yeah.
Dr. Mehta, you have 1 minute.
Okay, I finished, ma'am.
Please give a round of applause to Dr. B.V. Mehta. I'm taking 2 questions for Dr. Mehta.
Can I bulldoze you?
Always you do it.
Mehta ji, you've got a wrong perception that palm oil is now not entering the direct households. In fact, our research says that almost 30 to 35% households in the country are actually eating palm oil directly, not indirectly, more so in southern India, but now in northern India as well. Your views and comment.
No, thank you for your input, sir. I agree with you. But basically, if you look at the upper class or middle class, there is not enter. It's enter into the lowest segment of the society. That's only I have to.
Yeah, of course. You're a rich man. You will go for olive.
The God is kind to me.
Any more questions, please? Yes. Please state your name and your affiliation.
Yeah, good evening and Jai Hind. I'm Dr. Ramna Rao. I represent the Indian Council of Agriculture Research from the Indian Institute of Oil Research, Hyderabad. Thanks for the organizers for having invited me. Now, first thing, sir, Mehta sir, a great presentation. And I believe that the answer is right here. You talked about technology gap. And this is precisely where we need to take it on a war footing for the soft oils. And the entire powerhouse of the oil in the country is very much in this here. It is you, Chunjanwala Saab, and Ajay sir. If you can really take it forward, like how we have made some MOUs with the other oil palm, if we can take it forward with the research system around in the country, I'm sure why we can't see a reason as to why we cannot give a push to the domestic productivity. My point is very clear that if SCA, it has to take it forward, and it has to burn immediately so that we find imminent results that can take up the enhancement of the domestic productivity of the oil seeds per se, thereby giving a slight reduction in the import. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ramanna. Let me tell you, SCA has started the model farm programs. With the castor, last 8 years we are running model farms where we showcase how the productivity can be increased. In the Gujarat,
Right.
the castor productivity was just 1400 kg. After 7 years, we were 2200 kg. With the solidarite, last 4 years we were working on the mustard. Last year we established about 1250 model farms across MP, Rajasthan, UP, and Punjab. And we showcase the farmers that productivity can increase by 40 to 45%. With our all limited resources, we are trying our best to educate the farmer the better agronomic practice to raise the productivity. Since our product is very low, 1100 or 1200 kg is quite low. So we as an, but we need your support also with the right seeds.
Yes,
Many
sir.
times the farmers are getting the bad seed or fake seed and they are suffering. So we need the institute also to work together. And we as an SCA ready to work with your, of course we are already working with you, sir, and we can work much better with your organizations.
Yes, sir. We would love to have the, MOUs to take it forward so that you've taken the pilots, no doubt. You all those started in groundnut for sure and all those. Now we need to escalate it to a larger platform across different ecosystems so that the the spillover would be on a larger scale at the farm level.
Dr.
Yes, sir.
Ramanna, my president, my ex-president, all are here.
That's why
We assure you that
Sir,
we'll sign, not only sign MOU, but we'll work with you in a much bigger way.
Precisely, sir. That's why I
Thank
said,
you. Thank you,
Yeah.
Doctor.
Yeah.
So due to the time constraint, let's thank Dr. B.V. Mehta. And he's here in the afternoon. If you can have further engagement with him in the audience. Thank you. Thank you. So now we will move to the last paper in session 1, which will be presented virtually live from China. The paper is entitled Considerations and Suggestions on Steadily Improving the Supply Capacity of China's Edible Vegetable Oil, which will be presented by Mr. Zhang Zhen. He is currently the Deputy Director of the Department of Crop Production of the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Affairs of the People's Republic of China. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been informed that the presentation will be delivered in Mandarin, but the translated text will be shown on the screen. So we'll wait for the, yes, the speaker is online. So Mr. Zhang, you may please start when you are ready. Thank you. You have 15 minutes.
Okay, thank you. 感谢会议举办方的邀请。Hello，
Yes, Mr. Zhang, you can start.
有翻译没有？
没有翻译，可是我们你的 text 英语的 text 已经在 screen 上面了。
我是用英文讲还是用中文讲啊
你可以用英语吗？
？OK，Thank you for.
He's presenting in English.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Thanks to the Council of Palm Oil Production Countries and the Insidia Palm Oil Association for co-host the 22nd Sustainable Vegetable Oil Conference. I'm glad to attend this meeting. And I will report from 3 seconds. First, supply and demand of China's soybean, bean and oil crops. Second, progress of the soybean and our corporate capacity expansion project. Second, strategical plan for the future. Okay, firstly, I will provide a brief introduction of China's soybean and oil crops production, consumption, and importance from a macro perspective. For the production situation, soybean and oil crops are the main source of China's edible vegetable oil. Soybean is considered as a grain in China and as an oil crop internationally. In China, oil crops mainly include rice, peanut, sunflower. The rapid production domestically is usually entirely for oil extraction, making it the largest source of edible vegetable oil in China. Peanuts are equally used for both oil extraction and consumption, while soybeans are primarily used for food consumption with only 10% used for oil extraction. In 2022, the planning year of China's oil crops is 197 million mu, with a yield of around 66 million tons. Among rapeseed oil crops for approximately 43%, peanut oil for 31%, soybean oil for 5%, and other oils such as sunflower, CCM, license oil, and olive accounts for 15%. For the consumption situation, China's soybean consumption mainly includes three aspects. Food use, about 14 million tons, and protein international progress, 3 million tons. In terms of different spice, soybean oil consumption accounts for about 48% of edible vegetable oil consumption, and exported soybean oil exports and exported soybean oil account for more than 78%. Rapeseed oil consumption about 22%. Peanut oil consumption 8%, basically self-sufficient. Okay, this is the first part. In the second part, I will focus on the implication of China's soybean and oil crop capacity expansion project to address the limited domestic production capacity of soybean and oil crops and efficiently ensure the supply of edible vegetable oil. From 2022, the Chinese government launched the National Soybean and Oil Crop Capacity Expansion Project. The Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Areas, together with all local government and department, took energy managers, ensuring the energy tactics. The main task includes three aspects. The first two strengthen top level designs. The Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Areas has instilled governance and action plans to clarify all requirements and main objective of soil and oil crop production. Refine key tasks and implement various safeguard measures. The second, strengthen policy support. Since planting in autumn and winter, secondly, to strengthen policy support to motivate farmers to increase production of soybeans and all crops. Since planting in autumn and winter, 2022, the central government has made funds available for soybean and all crop production within the scope operated by the WTO, and each province has also issued corresponding policies. Thirdly, dedicated guidance and service during critical farming seasons. The Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Areas and each province send their agricultural expatriate team turns to the fields to provide guidance and service and help farmers to solve practical problems in production. On the other hand, national expert guidance ground and technological teams are placed to provide online and offline literature and training and online service, improving farmers' production technology leads. The third part is about the current problems of soybean and all crops production in China under relevant policy consideration. The first is planting benefits are still. The first one is contradiction between grain and all crops is permitted. The main grain production region is also main soybean and oil crop production region. The second problem is planting benefits are still relatively low, about 270 yuan less than winter wheat and vegetable planted in the same season. Farmers planting in soybean is not hard, although the government provide subsidies for newly expanded area of this repeat rosin. Three, competition between grain production and sale is poor. Consumption structure is unreasonable. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, unique cooking and eating habits cause excessive consumption of edible vegetable oil. China's annual per capita consumption of edible vegetable oil is 25 kilograms, which is much higher than the recommended consumption standard of 22 kilograms. At last, some suggestions. One, stabilization and enhance the production capacity of soil and oil crops, enhance the per unit yield through technological innovation, launch a campaign to enhance the per unit yield. Two, promoting smooth integrating between production and sales, such as expand and improve national solvent and oil crops trade markets. Three, strengthen monitoring, early warning, and information distribution, such as strengthen the monitoring and trans-department collaborative to form a more comprehensive soil supply demand balance sheet, timely with alternative information at key moments to guide market expectation. Four, guiding residents to consume in a reasonable and healthy manner, such as spread health nutrition knowledge, discuss waste in dietary section, and validate the scientific demonstrate the concept of low oil and low fat. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Zhang. Is there any question from the floor for Mr. Zhang? If there's no question, thank you very much once again, Mr. Zhang. So with that, we conclude session 1, and thank you all the participants for their active participations. And now I pass back to Ms. Monica.